Good morning, everybody. Yes, Dr. Paparo, I hope you are well soon. And I get to be something that I never wanted to be, a substitute teacher today. um, Actually, I'm really excited to talk on this topic. It wasn't on our original plan, but it is a fun thing for that really will apply to all of us as choral directors, finding those winning warm-ups that make the first part of every rehearsal special, engaging, exciting, and a time where you can not just waste, but really build the most important skills for your singers to take to their repertoire. Anybody who ever sang in my choirs knows I was really into those warm-ups. We were doing 10, 15 minutes at least on warm-ups because it's your time to basically put on a little bit of that voice teacher hat and really help your students develop their best individual technique. Think about if you're a band or choir or orchestra teacher, or if you've observed any of those rehearsals of your colleagues. They spend a lot of time in that world teaching their players how to play the instrument even before they get to playing repertoire. And I think choral warm-up time is our time to teach how to play this instrument. All of the basics are taught and you develop your choral tone. At the same time, you don't want it to be boring. You don't want people zoning out. You want them getting excited and getting ready to go for your rehearsal plan. So, shall we dig into some winning warm-ups? So I shot over some slides to Dana this morning. Dana's going to run our slides. We're going to sing lots of warm-ups. We're going to hear some recorded warm-ups. And I think when you're done, you will know a lot of new warm-ups to share with your group. Dana, are you able to share the slideshow for us right now? Aha, I see it coming. Okay, there's a title slide. There's what I look like when I wear a jacket. And here we go. So I actually have 7 books now that I pull warm-ups from. I didn't write all these books, but these are some of my favorites from long ago, some of my own writing on the topic of warm-ups, and even some brand new innovative ways to approach your warm-up. So this book you might recognize from your old choir teacher's bookshelf. It's called The Complete Choral Warm-Up Book, and it's over 25 years old now. I think we're getting close to 30 years that this book has been out, kind of as like the very most basic, reliable warm-up book for every choir. Can you see, if you enlarge your screen, some of the contents? This is written by Russell Robinson and Jay Althouse. The contents have how to use the book. Why do we warm up? It's always good to have a reasoning for our warm-ups. And then they go into these different considerations for different age groups. Look at the age groups there. Do you teach one of those age groups? I bet you do. Um, I like this little section on warm-ups that are just before your performance, things to do, and also precautions not to do. Don't make them over sing and tire before the concert, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of chapters here. We're going to dig into one of my favorites at the end is like these chordal warm-ups. They design chordal warm-ups for various voicings, as well as some jazz, pop, and swing warm-ups. Let's go ahead and dive in a little bit. When you open the choral warm-up, the complete choral warm-up book, let's turn the slide, Dana. It's a spiral-bound book, like so. And the left page provides the instructions for the music that's on the right page. So here are the first 3 warm-ups in here. They're beginning warm-ups. The first one is great for 2 reasons, that very open round ah and yom, yom, yom. And also the fact that it descends. The best choral tone is developed, approached from the head tone coming down, not the opposite. Young and inexperienced singers love to start at the bottom, but that adds weight that we're trying to really lighten up in a choral group. So it's a basic exercise you would do with your group. Yom, 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 yom. The arrows mean that then you modulate up or down with the exercise. And they give you all the whys and hows and what to do over on the instruction side. Next exercise combines a couple of vowels The more closed ooh, and I always talk to kids about like those little canisters of what's it called? Chapstick. Get some imaginary chapstick. Imagine you're putting it on the lips where you have to bring them forward and really circle for an ooh, and then the more open ah. You ya, you ya, you ya, you ya. You see the jaw really has to float from closed to open to closed to open. And my word float is very important. Don't force the jaw to change position. Let it gently float. You ya, you ya, you ya, you ya. I bet we all know verse 2 of exercise number 3. Mama made me mash my M&Ms. Do you also know Papa picked a pot of peas? Mama made me mash my M&Ms. Kids love this one. Let's move on to our next slide. Some more from the complete choral warm-up book. Syllables, 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 syllables. That's really requiring a whole octave of me. So the idea of lightness on the bottom to get to the top note at the end really comes into play. Sing it with me. 2 and 3, 4. Syllables, 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 syllables. I bet with more practice, I could do that in one breath. A challenge that you can ask your own singers to do. We rarely warm up in anything other than a classical style. So it's pretty cool that this book includes jazz, pop, and swing warm-ups. Here's what this one concentrates on. I see lots of articulations that you would do as a jazz singer. I see a little bit of what looks like a scat text, which is very similar to vocal warm-up text, actually, and the indication that we swing. So those eighth notes are not going to be even, but triplet swing. Do-ba-do-bop, 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 bop, dwee-dop. Yeah, that's fun. You can modulate that and sing that in lots of different keys. So there are just a few exercises from this wonderful book called The Complete Choral Warm-Up Book by Robinson and Althouse. Let's turn the page and see what we have next. One more. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I wanted to show a chordal warm-up. So this is from the SATB section. You notice they're going to do these in various voicings, but here's an SATB one song all on new. We all start on the same middle C. Dana, can we give a listen to this, please? Of course, you can try it on different vowel sounds. You can go faster or slower, move the key as necessary, and it'll be a nice way to tune your group. I'll talk about this more later in our session today, but it's not only about the individual voice warming up, but the best choral performer is a lot of ear, right? They really have to do a lot of listening. So when you do these chordal warm-ups, you're really now working on the ear part of it, which is why you don't start with a chordal warm-up. You start with probably a body warm-up, a breath warm-up, a vocal warm-up to just get the voice going, vibrating. Later in your sequence of warm-ups, you would go to a chordal warm-up where now we're really involving more of this ear and this choral listening. Look at the left here, suggested warm-up sequences. Particularly if you're a younger choir teacher or just coming to the choir world, you may not know how to form a sequence that really makes sense in what order should you warm things up. And here they have provided suggested sequences. Those numbers tell you do number 1, then number 20, then 39, 41, 71. And you've got them for mixed choirs, for 3-part choirs, for treble SSA, for 2-part children, for show and jazz choirs. They've put together sequences that will really, really work well to start your rehearsal. You don't have to only do the 4 sequences that they suggest. You can also interchange this, kind of like a Sudoku, and move one from a different column up. And try various things. And this will really just get you in the practice of how to organize warm-ups to best welcome and engage and train your choir. Let's move on now. Yay, I love seeing the little hearts come up. I don't know who's doing that, but that is super fun. Vocalize. So yeah, I saw this one pop up in chat before we even started this morning. I'm so glad that you choir teachers have embraced this idea of vocalize. I think this series may have started 10 years ago. Well, yes, the very first vocalized book, the one we're seeing here, was first published in 2013. So happy 10 years, Vocalize. My concept here was trying to shorthand what we're doing, the purpose of each exercise by giving it lyrics. So a traditional vowel warm-up would be me, me, ma, mo, moo. And you would sing that with your kids, and then you would stop and you would say, we're doing this because of the vowels. We're working on vowels now, kids. And then we'd sing it again, and you have to stop and say, oh, well, what I mean is drop the jaw, shape round. Some voice teachers say north and south. There's all ways to talk about how to do good vowels. And I thought, how about the exercise itself contains the instruction? So my vowel exercise, as an example from Vocalize, is drop your jaw, let it fall, shape your vowels round. Open mouth, north and south, for a finer sound. Now we're on. Kids are going to sing that in many different keys several times, and they're going to be receiving that instructional text while they're working on the concept. In this book are exercises for posture, vowels, breath support, tone quality, diction, dynamics and articulations, miscellaneous skills like diphthongs and listening and blending. There are scales and intervals, little short songs, and then, yes, at the end of the book, even some harmony exercises where we're really leaning into the ears as part of our warm-up. Let's see what else we can discover and vocalize on the next slide. This is Vocalize Book 1, and this is another, I don't actually think we need to play it. Flying on the breath we ride, sighing open inside. This is about the idea that we really have to have a lot of air that carries the voice. It's like a ha sigh. Notice it starts from the top, encouraging head voice down. And you are not only open in the jaw, but inside, when you inhale, you're really opening the whole thoracic cavity, the throat, the diaphragm, and the rib cage. Diaphragm is a questionable word these days. It's not really the diaphragm, but the diaphragm does react by kind of expanding and making room for the ribs to expand to get the most air in there. Consonants are planned. I know we're always working on this in our repertoire. So my idea was, why don't we train up these skills in our exercises, and then you can refer to the exercise when you're trying to, make your concert piece have a good consonant, final consonant. It goes like this. Every phrase we sing should be complete, with a final cutoff that is neat. Each and every consonant is planned, so the audience can understand. Every exercise in Vocalize has a fully orchestrated light accompaniment track. We're going to sing along with that track right now. And will you point to every final consonant when you get to them as you sing twice through? Consonants are planned. Dana, could you run the audio for us, please? How did you do? I bet you did great. Awesome. Let's turn the slide and see what we have next. I think we're probably still talking about Vocalize. Oh, here's something I did during the pandemic. After the first 2 weeks of freaking out about how are we going to teach on screen, we decided to choose 25 exercises from that Vocalize book and make them into interactive slides. Now, these were very useful when students were working at their own computers. The slides had the beautiful melody and lyrics for you. You can see some examples on our screen. They also are having the instructions there for the kids, and we rewrote the instructions slightly to be student-facing, just in case the teacher wasn't leading these warm-ups. And then we added an audio link on all the slides so students can actually practice on their own individual devices. Now, once we got back to in-person teaching, these slides are still very useful because you can project them at the front of your classroom and go through the same thing. I personally love teaching warm-ups by rote. I don't think we need a paper or a book in our hand. I actually think we're much more attentive to our vocal performance when we're not dealing with the page or the paper. So having those things projected at the front of the room is a great way to be hands-free, so you can really work on posture and all of that good stuff. So this is the Vocalize sing-along slides. They are available from Alfred. It's just 25 of the best ones that were student-facing from that other book. So now this and the book work really well together. Let's turn this slide. Another thing that happened during the pandemic is I had a lot of free time on my hands to think about, are there topics I didn't completely cover within Vocalize 1? And I came up with the book Vocalize 2, where now there are 36 additional exercises. Same idea, the lyrics are going to teach us about these skills. Now, in this collection, we also, by the way, have the slide sets for this too. You see that on the screen here. In this book, I decided to go a little deeper into the important topics like vowels, like blend, and also add some more choral topics like how to really shape a phrase with rise and fall, how to be expressive singers, not just robot singers. When I was writing this, I put on my adjudicator hat. I spend a lot of time adjudicating developing choirs, and many times they have come doing the technical things right. They have good posture. They're working on vowels. I hear final consonants. But we have robot singers. They aren't connecting with their text. They aren't shaping musical phrases. They aren't really embracing the art form. And so I thought, can I write some exercises that encourage those that icing on the cake layer to acquire? So let's take a look at some of these. Please turn the slide. Well, here's one that's about vowels, but this is me going a little deeper into the vowel thing. A vowel is not only the drop of the jaw and the shape of the lips, but it's also this idea of opening inside. So the oval is seen on the outside, but felt on the inside. Tall and round, shape the space, oval in the mouth, and an oval on the face. I had a master teacher who once talked to me about, she would tell her kids to picture a hard-boiled egg sitting on your tongue the tall way inside. So this is a more advanced way to think about vowels, isn't it? And it sort of talks about the idea of maybe not everyone uses this terminology, sorry, voice teachers, but maybe the lifted soft palate, maybe the open throat. We all have different ways to say it. We're trying to get the same effect. And it's about like relaxed freedom, space, and yeah, I think that's that. Freedom, space, and relax, unforced. Want to sing this one with the track? It's a very pretty track. Sing it at home. Let's do it once through. By the way, the gesturing that I'm doing right here is exactly what I do when I mirror it for the kids in the room. I would also encourage all the singers to be doing the same thing. I keep saying kids, and it's not always kids. These work great with adults too. I use these with the church choir all the time. They need the same kind of strong vocal warm-up as a student choir or community singers would. Let's move on to the next. What else do we have from Vocalize 2? The inner tube expands is about how to take a good inhalation. Notice there are 4 prominently placed rests. All 4 of those rests are a time for you to fully expand. Sometimes we put our hand on our tummy and we expand forward. But that's only part of the picture. The best breath for any wind instrument is not only front, but it's also sides. This doesn't work with a virtual background. Whoa, I'm a ghost. Yeah, and it's also back. It all expands. How did you like the ghost demonstration? Yeah, so the tummy, the sides, and the back all expand. Okay, you're wearing an inner tube around your middle, and the air goes everywhere in the inner tube. It doesn't just inflate at the front, it's all the way around. The tummy and the sides, alas and alack, the inner tube expands, even in the back. That is bringing that concept to light, I hope. Let's move on to the next. Oh, yay, I'm getting to play voice teacher, nerding out. Here's one that I was talking about, rise and fall. You know, there are dynamics in modern printed music. I know, I'm an editor, I put them there and I check them, but they aren't the only dynamics. Every phrase, every lyric deserves micro dynamics. That's a term I learned from one of the best writers in our industry, Kirby Shaw, started talking to me about microdynamics years ago. And I love that term. It's the little ways that you bring more art, more musicianship, more meaning to your text. And rising in the middle and decaying at the end is usually one thing to try. So the music may have 16 bars that say mezzo forte, but it's not just one mezzo forte. There are certain places where we can be a little mezzo forte plus or mezzo forte minus. I wrote an exercise to kind of show this. When you want to amaze with the shaping of a phrase, grow in the middle and taper at the end. You could try those microdynamics I've written. You could try the whole thing as one 2-bar crescendo and 3-bar decrescendo. You could try all kinds of different things. I want your singers to be aware of these things that make their performance special. So share them during the warm-up time. So it's not a surprise during concert week when you say like, oh my gosh, guys, we got to shape the phrase. It won't be a surprise. They will have sung this exercise several times and they'll go, oh, I know what that means. Okay, we can do that. Let's move on to the next slide. Here it comes. I think. There we go. No worries, Dana. Okay. Oh, the Vocalize Canon collection. Okay, so now Vocalize keeps expanding. Yes, it's 3 books. Book 1, Book 2, and the Canon collection. The Canon collection was it's very simply this. You know that, well, for me, it was a manila folder file. For you, it might be a notes on your phone app. Where you've collected like, oh, somebody just sang this round in a session. I want to remember that. Or, oh, there's a neat one. Let me rip it out of this booklet and stick it there. And you just collect all these canons because canons are the most effective way to introduce harmony singing. We learn a short melody, we stack it up, and we're practicing harmony. It's an amazing way to get the ear going in a warm-up sequence. So these were 55 that I had collected over the years in my manila folder and thought, let me organize these. Let me at least get these into a binder in the plastic sleeves. And in doing so, I realized, oh, wow, I would love to share these with the rest of the world and make it part of the Vocalize routine. 55 canons, you will know some of them in this book. Let's turn the slide. I think they're listed. You will know some of them in this book. You won't know others because they're brand new or I wrote them for the book. Look at the some of the titles we can see at the left. Ah, Poor Bird, Ari Wrong. There's an Alleluia there, a classical piece. All Things Shall Perish. Are You Sleeping? We know that one. I love Belladonna. Do you know Belladonna? It's not on the page, but it goes Belladonna, Belladonna, Belladonna. Belladonna, Belladonna, Belladonna. Belladonna, Belladonna, Belladonna. Belladonna, Belladonna, Belladonna. You can tell there are 4 phrases, so it stacks into 4 if you want to do 4 parts. And I like it because it's a little more mature. It's got some Italian text. It really focuses on vowels. This book, oftentimes people think of canons as an elementary school convention. I do not believe so. Many of these are actually quite grown up. You're going to be able to use this book with any age group. And I love to have lots of canons in my own back pocket for lots of things, not only warming up, but you can quickly turn these into a performance piece. All of these have tracks with them that actually let you sing it once in unison, then give you a time where you do it in 2 parts, then another time where 3 parts, another time with 4 parts, and it almost turns into a 2-minute choral piece. I've had very creative teachers tell me they use these as transitions as one music class is leaving and grade 4 is coming in the door. We're all singing canons. Other people have told me they use these in their concerts during those 10 minutes that it takes to get one choir off the risers and another choir on the risers. We all engage in canon singing and repeat as necessary until everybody's set. So lots of things you can do with these. I think everybody knows Ah, Poor Bird. Let's skip Ah, Poor Bird. I'll show you one you might know called Child of Song. It's an original by Daryl Herring and myself in 5/4. Here's how I teach 5/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you do taps and snaps with me? Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep it going like that. I'll sing the tune here. Sing me a song when I wake in the morning. Play me a tune in the cool of the night. Yeah, we actually have a track that sounds a little bit like Dave Brubeck. Sing along just once in unison, and then we'll talk about how it becomes a round. Thank you, Dana. So that track continues, and then you start stacking things here. You see the little boxes with 1, 2, 3, and 4? That tells you you can stack this every single bar, add a new entrance up to 4, and get 4-part harmony. But if your group is not ready for 4-part harmony, just do the box 1 and 2. Or even easier yet, if they need more thinking mental space, have them enter on the number 1 and the number 3. You can really tailor make these to fit your situation. I'm glad you like that one. I see the hearts coming. Yes, I'm a bit of a Dave Brubeck fan, and it came out there, didn't it? Let's move on to the next slide. Thank you, Dana. Oh my gosh, this is such a good book. This is a fabulous book. One of my favorite warm-up collections that Alfred offers in our Lawson Gould series. Lawson Gould is our imprint for what we consider to be more upper level high school and even collegiate adult repertoire. So that implies that this warm-up collection called Harmonic Warm-Ups is not going to be for middle and elementary students, but rather for those who are just a little more developed. Tish Kramer is a Scandinavian choral conductor and professor, teaching in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, and he just shares with us some incredible ideas. This is one exercise we hear here, we see here on the page. It's called floating down, and it starts as a simple singing a minor key pattern. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Getting my baritone on this morning, my goodness. Now you can change all the vowels. You see that we then get to sing it in nay. Later we'll sing it on na. Later we'll sing it on nu. And he starts to play with this. What do we do? Canon in two. Here's what it'll sound like. Let's listen to canon in two, Dana. Yeah, did you start to notice at the very end, which is maybe what's making this a little more mature, there's a crunch where you got two notes sustaining right next to each other. Here's another way he frames it. How about we enter every bar? What does it sound like then, Dana? Love that dissonance. Okay, then he does something else. Stack it in parallel fifths and make it something harmonic. Let's listen to that one. Yeah, the audio is behaving a little strangely, but we could hear that. Thank you, Dana. Now, this is only half of what he does. I don't have the page in my slide deck, but then the next page, he starts to this idea of stacking in fifths and trying it in canon. Now we've really got SATB or TTBB or SSAA going on. All kinds of things where he takes a basic pattern and plays with the pattern to create these very interesting and challenging harmonics for older groups. I love it. Let's turn the page and see what else we have. I think I've got a couple more samples from this book. The dissonant scale looks really easy on the page. Loo, 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 and write down the entire scale. What happens when we stack it as a canon? You're going to be singing seconds with the other group. Let's listen. Yeah, pretty amazing. By the way, when you get this book, the physical copy of the book, you've got, I think, a link or a code or something where you can get all these recordings of how they all sound when they're stacked up, the things that we're playing for you here. Just a little instrumental demo of what you can expect as these exercises unfold in harmonic warm-ups. Let's turn the slide. I think we have some more in here from harmonic. Yeah, oh gosh, this chord with four notes. First of all, it's hard for me to sing the pattern just on the do's. So when I approach this, I learn it first in solfege. I'm a solfege guy. Look at this melody. It would be do, la, fa, re, ti, sol, mi, do, la, fa, re, ti, so, mi, do. That in itself is a wonderful exercise just to do in unison. But what happens when we enter it as canon. Listen to this one. Together, the four parts form these chords. I mean, wow. If we were all in the same room right now, you know I would make you sing that because it is gorgeous. It is pretty cool the way that works. Very cool book. If you're working with mixed or maturing voices, this is your book. This is fantastic. Let's go ahead and move ahead in the interest of time. Ah, yes, I call this one the Mean Green Warm-Up Machine. uh, Drop me a heart or a smiley face if you have this book. A lot of us do have this book, the Choral Warm-Up Collection. Oh, look at all these hearts coming up. Yeah, it's awesome because it's like the old church cookbook. I have a friend who collects old church cookbooks. She loves to see all the recipes that the folks from these churches contributed. And that's kind of the idea here. There are 167 choral warm-ups, 51 different directors from around our country contributed to this book. And instead of giving these people royalty, they donated their warm-ups. And we give proceeds from this book to ACDA for conducting scholarships for student conductors. So we're very proud of that. And we've given away, I mean, we've donated this book has donated tens and maybe 100,000. I don't know the number, but tens of thousands over the years from the proceeds of this book. Now, that being said, let's see what it looks like. Let's flip to the next slide here. These are your basic wonderful sizes that really do a good job of identifying at the top of the page what it is you're working on. At the left, you see breathing exercises. So this is a great way to start a rehearsal with that real solid diaphragmatic energy in. I have no idea if that worked across Zoom, but I was doing it correctly. Those rhythms. Look what Sally does on the B part of this exercise. She's helping you identify what the actual notes are by singing whole, half, half, quarter, quarter, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, triplet, 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 16th note and 16th note and 16th note and 16th note and done. I think that's really, really fun. Here's a diction and interval exercise from Charlene Archibek. Bumblebee, bumblebee, etc., etc. I love reading her page here. She tells you exactly what a B, the consonant B, does for your vocal health. She talks to you about what each of the vowels, how the M helps, how the bowl of bumble really, really helps to free the voice and relax the instrument. Master teacher here sharing her recipe for good singing with this exercise. Let's move on to the next slide. These are fun. Yeah, it reminds me of exercises I haven't done in a while that are really good. Do, 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 re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. The little asterisk tells that we can stack it in a 4-part round, and you're going to build some chords with this from Julie Knowles. Sing this one with me, please. Number 83. I need you to sing loud because I don't get it right every time. For some reason, chromatics, well, I'll tell you why I don't. Because I didn't grow up singing chromatic warm-ups, so I struggle a little bit with it. I wish my teacher had done this one. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Maybe everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Simple, but mind-blowingly effective, right? I did okay. I'm not sure. I think it was a little flat on that word snow. I think a lot of us know do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, so, do, la, do, ti, do, that one. And then you sing it descending. I love the bottom of the page where this woman, Janelle Crable, I think is how we say her name, she shows you iconic representation. I can picture this in a middle school or elementary classroom drawing these umbrellas where you sing 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, and you're up at the board showing the direction over the umbrella. And then start with me at the right edge of the page. 8, 7, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 4, 8, 3, 8, 2, 8, 1. Of course, my diagram would actually have do, re, mi's instead of the numbers, but either work beautifully. I love this iconic representation. Could we turn our slide, please? I know I'm getting down to, oh, good, I'm at the last book. I've got 3 minutes to talk about it. If you did not tune in for Anna Wentland's session yesterday here at Choral Connect, she did a beautiful session that featured a lot of ideas from this brand new, hot off the press warm-up book called the Choral Playbook. It is incredible. There are 80 exercises in here. Turn the slide, please, Data. The 80 exercises are organized into, gosh, these chapters: physical warm-ups, vocal warm-ups, diction, solfege patterns, rounds, silly songs, rehearsal strategies, choir games. In a couple weeks' time, anybody who's attending Choral Connect will get access to every one of our sessions videoed. You should tune in and watch Anna's presentation and learn these directly from the author. It's got the word play in the title, the Choral Playbook, because every one of the exercises is not only sung, but then there's an extension that feels like we're playing. Let's turn the slide. I'm not the author, but let me see if I can teach you a couple of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you have a friend in the room? Is there somebody there, a child, a spouse, a partner? Link palm to palm. Lean back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you ascend, and then lean forward. 4, 3, 2, 1 as you descend. You'll feel that sort of pull of the resistance that we use in breath support and energy to ascend a scale. It's really fun to do with a friend. Turn to the next slide, please. O is very useful, you use it when you say, Oscar's only ostrich oiled an orange owl today. Yes, I've practiced, it's a mouthful. I was able to get it all out. She says, go ahead and sing it with a British accent. O is very useful, you use it when you say, Oscar's only ostrich oiled an orange owl today. Julie Andrews, my apologies. You can also sing it in a cowboy twang and opera voice, all these different things to start working on different ways that we shape vowels to create different tone qualities and effects. Let's move to the next one. What do we got here? Disappearing solfege. This is a fun game. Do, so, fa, so, mi, so, re, so, do, so, fa, so, mi, re, do. Do, so, fa, so, mi, so, re, so, do, so, fa, so, la, ti, do. You're singing this, you're probably doing hand signs, teach it slow at first, and then you start to get rid of a certain note. So she says, now sing it with no fa, and clap your hands on fa and audiate the pitch. That means hear it internally rather than sing it. Do, so, mi, so, re, so, do, so, mi, re, do, so, mi, so, re, so, la, ti, do. And it becomes a game. Your kids can say, oh, now let's drop out mi. Now let's drop out high do. Now let's, and it becomes a game in the choral playbook. I think that brings me to the end. And look at this. It's right on time. Oh, the dum dum song. Shoot. The dum dum song. We don't have time. Dum dum da 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 dum dum da da. Dum dum da 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 dum dum da da. This is a favorite of kids because you're demanding body percussion where we're tapping and keeping the beat with all kinds of stuff. You see her instructions over to the left. Whew! 45 minutes of warm-ups. How was that, everybody?